And that was a way that we were really able to make the most of our time, like get the most juice out of that time together, the most learning juice without wasting any time. Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to have a conversation about some of the ways that I have massively simplified my life. I have found so much joy in simplifying literally every aspect of my life. There are so many ways that you can simplify, and I truly believe that these things I'm going to share will help make life just go a lot smoother. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Mariah. I come on here every week with new videos, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. I run a business from home. I'm homeschooling my daughter. My husband and I invite people into our home and host people very frequently on a consistent basis. We have very, very full yet also slow lives. Like, our lives are very full, they're very rich. We have a lot of community and things going on, things to do, people to see, all the things. But at the same time, while things are full in the best way, if you ask me, while things are full, there's also margins. They're also slow, what I would consider very slow, and in a good way. And it truly never feels overwhelming or stressful doing all of those things that we do on a very consistent weekly basis. So I was asking myself, okay, what are the things that we have done that have really contributed to this, that have really allowed us to be able to live a slow yet very full life at the same time? And I believe all these things we are sharing today are what has really contributed to that. And so be sure to stay tuned until the very end, because I'm actually going to share at the very end a really big thing when it comes to simplifying. Wow. Stay tuned until the very end, because I'm going to share the most important thing when it comes to simplifying. You are not going to want to miss that. I also thought through what I wanted to tell you guys, what made the shifts for us in this simplifying department, wrote it out on the notes section of my phone, and printed it in my printer. So if I am reading off it all, that is why. The first thing that we did is we systemized everything. This is something I did in my business, and I saw a massive shift. So a lot of these things, I'm not really going to talk about my business today. This isn't that's not like what this video is about by any means. But a lot of these things that we have done and applied to our home, our life, homeschooling, everything else, every part of life besides business, basically, that has really made everything simpler and smoother. A lot of those things I did first applied to my business, and they were really things that allowed me to massively scale my business, massively pull back, essentially make more money while working way less hours, extremely minimal, because of these things. So systemize everything. You can truly have a system for anything and everything, and that's one of the things that we've done. Is I did this for my business, I saw the results, and we systemized everything else. In a little bit I will get into more of like examples of what I mean by that, but we're just going to keep going for now. The next thing I do is I write out my top priorities for the day the night before, and I do not have this huge to-do list. I used to have a massive to-do list. I tried to write down as many things as I possibly could, because I thought that would be the best, to just try to accomplish as many things as possible. But now I keep it really small and minimal, and I just hit the main core things, whether it's something for my business or not something for my business. I write it down, and I schedule what I say are my priorities. So for example, if I say it's important for me to move my body every day, then even if it's just a 15-minute Pilates workout video, I literally put that in my schedule. If I say it's important to read my Bible, I make an appointment in my schedule to do that. If I say it's important to spend a large amount of time reading books to my daughter, then I'm putting that in my schedule. So the things that are not necessarily urgent, but they are important, they are priorities, I'm putting those in my schedule, and then that allows you to really hold the boundary, because what happens oftentimes is those what you call priorities don't end up happening because they're not things we think we need to schedule. So we go about life, and then life happens, something comes up, someone calls, whatever, life gets thrown at us, and we don't have those in our schedule. So they're the things that kind of get thrown out the window first. I treat the important but non-urgent things in my life like they are a important appointment, because they are to me. So I treat them like they're an appointment, and this allows me to hold the boundary and not allow other things to creep in, because I've got an appointment at this time. This next point is a really big one. That is massively declutter. So my husband and my daughter and I decided a while back, we woke up one day and we were like, we're going to go to Mexico. We don't know how long we're going to be there. We're going to spend an extended period of time there. And we did, but it was a very it wasn't something that we had planned out for a long time. It was something we just felt this is what we need to do. And we did it kind of thing. We woke up one morning. It was a Friday. I remember that. And we went through every single room in our house. Every drawer, every cupboard, every closet, every room, and we decluttered everything. We got rid of over half of our possessions. We ended up having a massive garage sale and just got rid of all the other things that didn't sell in our garage sale. And we did this because we intended to turn our house into a rental, and then we weren't going to come back. We were going to find another house to live in and all of that. Plans ended up changing. We ended up coming back to our house. But the moral of the story is we definitely wouldn't have gotten rid of over half of our possessions. We would have decluttered, but not gotten that extreme if we didn't think we are never living in this house again. It's going to be a rental now, like a short-term rental, vacation rental for the unforeseeable future. If we knew we were coming back to our house, we would have never done that extreme declutter. But what happened since that declutter has been amazing. We came back to our house after we had done that declutter. We'd actually moved out, had it as a rental. We, months later, it did great as a rental, but circumstances changed and we ended up coming back to that house. And we had such a fresh love and appreciation for that home because, one, if you're in real estate, homes just show better when there's less clutter. It's the first thing that we tell anyone selling their house as a realtor is the first thing you need to do is massively declutter, put everything in boxes, anything you don't use every day, because homes just look so much better when they're massively decluttered. But I'm telling you, it just had a new, I don't even know how to explain it. You could breathe better in there. And it wasn't like we were people that had a ton of stuff. We were not hoarders. We did not have, nobody would have gone into our house and been like, you guys need to declutter, okay? We were pretty minimal to begin with, but we did a massive declutter. And now you would probably say we're minimalists in a way walking into our house because we keep things extremely minimal. We have a lot of cupboards that are empty. We have, drawers you pull out and they're empty, and it is so beautiful, guys. I cannot explain to you how good of a feeling it is. If you're on the fence if you should get rid of something, just get rid of it. And so here are my thoughts now after going through that. Here are my thoughts about clutter and all of that. I really believe there is a connection. I'm pretty sure there's been studies that show this, but I don't have any quotes or statistics for you guys, but I'm pretty sure there's been studies out there that show that there is a connection between your mind, having a clear mind, mental clutter, and physical clutter. I know for me, I work so much better. I'm so much more efficient. I'm so much happier. My daughter plays so much better. Life is just better if it is a clutter-free environment. Okay, so what I do now is I am a massive purger. What I mean by that is say a toy breaks, or honestly anything breaks, immediately it's going in the garbage. Say a toy, or I just say toys because if you're a parent, you probably have more toys than anything. If a toy has a bunch of parts and some of the parts are missing, immediately it's in the garbage. If a toy is not adding value to our life, my daughter is not playing with it, but somebody bought it for her, so you feel bad, immediately it's going in the garbage. Anything that does not, and I use toys as an example because that's easy as parents, we accumulate so many of them, but honestly, anything that goes for anything in your house, if it does not add value to you, have a purpose that you actually use it for, that adds value to your life, or bring you joy because it's just physically beautiful, it needs to go. It might be hard to get rid of it at first if you're like, oh, but I bought this, it's sentimental. No, throw it away. You will not miss it. Okay, that is my thoughts on decluttering. When it comes to decluttering toys, by the way, I have found my daughter plays so much better. Yes, she still has a playroom full of toys, but it is a extremely minimal playroom, especially compared to before. And she plays so much better with less toys. So kids do not need this massive amount of toys. I truly believe that they appreciate the toys that they do have and play with the toys that they do have more when they have less. When it does come to toys, since doing this massive decluttering, I have become so much more thoughtful as to what I will allow or bring into my home. What I mean by this is previously, I would impulse buy things. I would go to Target. Oh, this is cute. This is cool. I like this. I'd buy it. Or see something on Amazon and I would impulse buy it. I do not do that anymore. I am extremely, extremely thoughtful with my purchases. I used to buy my daughter toys all the time just because I love toys. It brings me joy to see her having joy and all of that. But I do not do that anymore. Like I don't think I've purchased a single toy besides maybe for like a holiday or birthday party. I have not purchased a toy literally since this decluttering purging happened. And this was well over a year and a half ago now at this point. I do buy books for my daughter. There are still things that I'll buy her, maybe like art supplies, bead making kits, art project, like things like that. There's still things that I'll buy her, Play-Doh, whatever. There's still things that I'll buy her, but after decluttering so much, I am just so much more thoughtful and intentional about what I will buy, what I will allow into my home, whether it is clothes for my daughter, myself, home things, like anything. I am just so much more slower to buy things, but also intentional, because if I'm going to bring it in my home now, I want to really love it. I want it to be good quality, and I want it to really add value to our home. So speaking of this whole video is not going to be on decluttering. There's plenty of other tips, but speaking of the whole like minimalist thing, my daughter has a very minimalist wardrobe, especially for what you would consider, the average child of her age has in this era of overconsumption. I feel like that's one thing that this decluttering has done is now I'm really in my like underconsumption era, not overconsumption era. But as I was saying, my daughter has a very minimalist wardrobe, and that is on purpose and intentional because, guys, it's fun to buy clothes for kids, but they need so much less than we think. And the fact that she has a literal minimalist wardrobe, like she has everything she needs, okay? Her needs are met. She's got some cute clothes she loves, but if you looked in her wardrobe, you'd probably be like, wow, she doesn't have a lot. She's got a couple pairs of shoes. Like, she is extremely minimal. And I'm telling you, laundry is so easy. I feel this makes doing laundry extremely, extremely easy. It just makes putting away her clothes, storing her clothes, like everything is so easy. We don't need as much as we think that we do. Okay, that's like the moral of the story. But we host, we host on a consistent basis. We have people over for dinner. We invite people into our home. I have play dates often. We love getting together with our, friends and family and inviting people into our home. I hear the comment often when people come into our home, especially when it's more on like a spontaneous basis. I hear, does your house really look like this all the time? How do you keep your house like this all the time? And I'm telling you, having minimal things, it makes it so easy to keep your house really clean, because when your house is minimal, it takes literally no time to do a quick, clean through of the house. And it just makes it so much easier. Like, I swear it makes such a difference. The other thing that helps my home stay really, really clean, that we have done to simplify our life, that has just made our life better and easier all around, guys, is we have a rule that we have implemented for a while, and it has honestly been a very, very, very big blessing to our life. And that rule is toys stay in the toy room, and any of my daughter's stuff, that's in her room stays in her room. We don't do what I like to call a house smoothie. A house smoothie, as I explained to my daughter in this concept, a house smoothie is when you take something that goes in the living room and it ends up in the office. You have something in the kitchen that's supposed to be in the kitchen, in the bathroom, something in the playroom that's supposed to be upstairs, goes downstairs. It's mixing all the things in the house, okay? So what we do for this is, our daughter knows now. It took a little bit, of consistency to implement this, but she is well aware now. She knows toys stay in the toy room, and what's in her room stays in her room. And this honestly helps so much, not having a huge mess. It helps when we hosting often, having people over often. We can host, and then our house isn't a disaster after, because before we implemented this rule, we would host, and then our house was a house smoothie after, and literally the toys were strung out all over the house, upstairs, downstairs, all over, and that is so hard to clean. But when you implement this rule, it just makes things so easy. Now, our daughter knows, like, this is drilled into her head because we've reminded her over and over and over that this is how we do things in our house. She knows However, other kids don't always know when they come over, but she also knows it's her job as the child hostess. She's the kid hostess when the kids come over. She gets to host the kids, we host the adults, and she knows it's her job to kindly remind the other children she's playing with that toys stay in the toy room and what is in her room stays in her room. And it's not like 100% of the time perfect. Every now and then a toy will get thrown downstairs, but like overall, this has saved us, and this has been a rule that I would 10 out of 10 recommend being consistent and firm with and implementing into your life. The next thing I do that has simplified my life is I follow the path of least resistance. This is how I built my business, and it worked for me in my business, and it works for me in my home, in my life as well. One example of how I do this in my life at home is I follow the path of least resistance when it comes to moving my body. I don't necessarily have this goal of having a six-pack right now and being in the best shape of my life. That's not my biggest priority. However, I do prioritize just moving my body and being a healthy weight and all of that. And one way that I do this is, instead of thinking, in order to get a workout in, I have to get ready to go, drive to a gym and put my daughter in the gym daycare and then do that, then come home. Like, no. I follow the path of least resistance, which means I give myself two options. I'm either doing a 15 or 20 minute Pilates or bar workout, two things that I really, really enjoy, Pilates and bar, or from home, or I'm going to go walk a few miles. The way that I decide this is if I'm in a hurry in the morning, or if I just have a lot more going on that day and I don't have time to walk a few miles because that takes time, then I am going to do the 15 or maybe 20, if we're really feeling it, minute workout, and that's it. We're going to call it a day. But if I do have the time, then I'm going to go on a long walk, and I bring my daughter with me because it's something we can do together, and it's following the path of least resistance. I don't have to go get childcare to do this workout. I don't have to drive to a gym. I'm doing what works for me. Almost every day, it's either one of those two things. I just choose at the beginning of the day which one of those activities is going to naturally fit best into my day today. The next thing I do that helps my life be really, really simple and just easy and good is I have a handful of daily uniforms. I don't have a capsule wardrobe, okay? But I do have daily uniforms. What I mean by that is I have a couple outfits that I know I like, I feel good in, and that work well for if I'm going to show a house as a real estate agent. And I will just rotate those clothes. Like, I will just rotate between those couple outfits over and over. I don't have to think. I don't have to wake up and decide, like, I'm going to pair this with this. Like, no, I just wake up and I know what I'm wearing. I have a handful of mom uniforms for the day-to-day, which more often than not, my days call for a mom uniform, which is something comfortable and easy to move in. I can walk in, but I still feel cute in it, and it's not just like workout clothes, if that makes sense. I saw my best friend 2 days in a row this week, and actually yesterday and the day before, and we both were wearing our mom uniforms, the same outfit. We wore the same outfit 2 days in a row. Usually I will wash them. I did not wash mine, actually, so don't judge me. But usually I do literally take my outfit off at the end of the day that I wore, and then I will wash it and then just wear it again, like the next day. I'm not like it honestly, okay, that might sound weird to you, but it just helps there be one less decision I have to make in the morning, and I just repeat. Obviously, usually if I'm seeing the same people or doing the same things, I'm not going to be repeating my outfit, but my best friend doesn't care. She gets it. But having simple, ready to go mom uniforms and work uniforms and whatever else uniforms, like easy outfits to just rotate through, make life really simple and easy. The next thing that I do is I live by time blocking, and we have daily rhythms on a normal day. I do live with flexibility, and I'm okay with like throwing that out the window if something comes up that we want to do, like whatever. But on a normal day, we do have daily rhythms, and I do live by time blocking. That's something I utilized massively in my business that really, really helped me scale, but also I use it in my life as a homeschool mom and just at home in general. it's really, really helped me. I'm not going to go in depth on this because I did a video where I really did go in depth on what our daily rhythms like, how we time block and all of that. That video is called, I believe, How I Finally Learned to Love Slow Days at Home as a Mom, something like that. You can go find that on my channel. I did it not too long ago after you finish this one, but that's another thing that has really helped me simplify. The next area of my life that I simplify in is homeschool. So this last year, my daughter and I did preschool homeschool, like not that serious, but we did take it seriously. And we are now rolling into kindergarten, which I've shared a little bit of what I'm planning on doing for kindergarten homeschool on my channel. You can find those as well after this video. But for preschool, here's what I did that was a way to massively, massively simplify. So I feel as though this might ruffle some feathers. You might disagree with me, and that's fine. I'm not an expert in this area or claiming to be an expert. I'm just sharing what works for me and my brain that has helped me simplify. So when it came to preschool time with my daughter, we dedicated, maybe 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week. It wasn't something that was super structured. It was just like here and there where we could, but we were consistent with it. So that's kind of how we did preschool at home. However, when it came to what we were learning, from what I have observed, many of the preschool homeschool curriculums teach things like facts about dinosaurs and penguins, or things like the days of the week and the months of the year and the calendar and like things like that. Colors, teaching kids colors. Here's the thing. I really believed, I didn't know if this would be true or not because, like I said, I'm not an expert in this area, but I really just felt when we began preschool at home, I really felt like I could spend time teaching my daughter all the colors, for example, and the days of the week. Or I could say, we're not going to waste a second on that. We're going to skip to things that I think are going to be more impactful to have a foundation on, because kids are going to learn things like colors just through living life. Like being a human, being a social human, going out into the world, like you're going to learn colors eventually. Maybe it'll take you a little longer than you wanted to, but you're going to know your colors, okay? By the time you are done with school, you're going to know your colors. You don't need to sit down and learn them. That's my honest opinion. And that's what happened with my daughter. I never sat down and taught her colors, but she learned because she lives in this world. She gets a lot of enriching experiences. She's very well traveled. She learned her colors just through living life, okay? Same with the days of the week. I didn't feel the need to sit down and teach her the days of the week because she learned the days of the week just through living life, the months of the year, all that. And I truly believe that all kids will eventually learn those things just through living life. So I could have, and dinosaur facts, like I don't know a single dinosaur fact, and I've run a successful business. I live a great life and I'm doing just fine. So I don't think that's necessary. If she showed a real interest in dinosaurs and was like obsessed or really wanted to learn more, then yeah, we'd lean into it, but she didn't. So we skipped the dinosaur facts. And the thing is, if we were only going to dedicate, say, 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week, let's just say max, that was probably the max we did. If we were only going to dedicate that time to days of the week, colors, dinosaurs, the things you learn in preschool, okay, if we were going to dedicate it to that, then all that time in my mind would have been wasted. Now, maybe it's not actually wasted, but in my mind, I'm like, if we can learn this later on in life through a book, through living, then why are we wasting our time? That's just how my brain works. Instead, the things that we actually focused on and took that time were phonics, learning how to spell, learning how to read. Really, reading lessons was like the bulk of it, the main thing. And she actually ended up learning how to read through that time. She would not know how to read right now as early as she did, which you don't have to learn early, or that's not what I'm saying, but she wouldn't know how to learn how to read. She wouldn't know how to read if we would have instead spent that time on what a lot of the preschool curriculums teach, which is colors, days of the week, dinosaurs, whatever. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. But we focused heavily on phonics, learning how to read, simply just reading books together, because you learn so much just through reading books about every aspect of life. Your vocabulary is superb when you read, all of that. And we did a little bit of simple adding and subtracting, but not too much. And we did do a little bit of manners and Bible type of things. But because those are more important to me than dinosaur facts and colors. But guys, what I'm trying to say is we really simplified things. We really looked at what is the most important thing, and to me, it was reading, being a strong reader, being someone that loves reading, that is really, really important to me. So that was really where we put all our focus, and we threw everything else away. Now, are we going to do that the rest of her homeschool life? No, obviously there's way more you need to learn than just reading. But for preschool age, I think that worked really, really well. And that was a way that we were really able to make the most of our time, like get the most juice out of that time together, the most learning juice without wasting any time. The next thing I've done to simplify my life is I do not keep social media apps on my phone. Yes, I do run my business through social media. I do YouTube, not this channel, other channels, YouTube more than other platforms, but I do frequently use other platforms as well for my business. However, I don't keep the apps on my phone. I just don't want to be able to pull up my phone when I could be thinking beautiful thoughts or having a clear mind. I don't want that distraction. It's just not something I want in my life, at least not right now. I've done it this way the last couple years, and it has brought me a lot of peace and just ability to run a business online successfully without the distraction of like constantly scrolling, and all of the other things that come with having social media apps on your phone. So how this works for me is when I have something to post for my business, I will simply download the app maybe a couple times a week, then I'll post it. And then maybe I'll scroll for a few minutes, I'll answer DMs, I'll answer any, messages that have come in, and then I delete the app and I do not even touch it or download it again until the next time I need to do something for my business, and that has worked really, really well for me. I also utilize airplane mode often, and I get back to people in what I call batches. So that means I utilize airplane mode, or I will simply put my phone in the other room for the bulk of the day. And when it is my work time block, I will then grab my phone and get back to everybody that has contacted me while my phone was away. That includes emails. I always get back to people within 24 business hours, obviously usually much, much sooner, 24 business hours at the max, but I answer everything in batches. I don't just have my phone on me and, respond to every text as it comes in or every call or email especially. I will set it aside and then I'll answer them all at once, and then I won't touch it or look at it for hours, and then I'll go back and do that again. The next thing that I do to live a simple, slow life and simplify and all of the things is I protect my mornings. I have done this for a really long time. I generally just know I do not want any appointments, whether it's for work or something else. I don't want to schedule any appointments till probably 1 or so in the afternoon. It's what works for me. It's allowed my family and I to have a good morning routine and nice, slow mornings together without ever feeling rushed. And there's exceptions every now and then to this, but 99% of the time, I am not booking appointments until the afternoon of any kind. As promised, I told you guys I would save what I think is the biggest thing for living a slow life / simplifying for the very last. What I truly think has been the biggest contributor to living a slow life and just simplifying overall in our life, our family, our home, is the decision to homeschool. When we were still in the middle of the decision-making process of deciding, is this really right for us or not? I remember laying in bed and just envisioning, what will my life look like for the next however many years, depending on how many kids we end up having and how long, obviously they're all in school for however many years you're in school until it's over. What will our life look like for the unforeseeable future? It's going to look like we wake up, we rush out the door, we drop our kids off and leave them, we turn back around and go pick them up, and then we come home for a short time, and then we drive to our daughter's activity. She's already involved in a handful of, kids' activities and sports and all of that. So we go get her, come home for a very short time, drive to her activity, we come home, we don't have much time, we do bed. It's very, very rushed. And I just don't see how it's possible. Maybe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But from my observation, I just do not think it's possible to live at least as slow, intentional, and minimal. At least as slow, intentional, and simple of a life as I would like to live, as I feel called to live and I crave to live. I do not think it's possible if you're doing the regular school route. I truly just don't think that it is. So that's really the biggest thing, is making that decision to homeschool, because you get to have time, you get margins. Another thing I've done that has really helped to simplify is I plan less things in my day, and I give myself more time in between things than I think I'm gonna need. I used to be really bad at this, and I still am sometimes, where I will just overestimate what I realistically can get done in a day. Then I end up being rushed. I end up probably being cranky because I don't leave myself time to really eat and fuel myself or drink water, and just not feeling my best, not giving those around me my best self, because when you're rushed, you don't have time to stop and like talk to a stranger. Maybe it's on your heart to talk to them. You don't have time to do that when you're in a hurry. You don't have time to really like see the person in front of you and care about them. Like, you just don't have time when you're living this like go lifestyle. So that's just a handful of things. I feel like this is a topic I could talk about all day, because simplifying my life has blessed me and my family so much. Yes, we do live a full life. We are very social. We live in community. We are thriving. We have a lot going on. But at the same time, it still gets to feel slow at least 90% of the time, and this is why. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. If you grab value from today's video, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down button. And as always, I never want these videos to just be me talking to you guys. I want to have a conversation. So I would love to hear what was the most like impactful tip that you heard today in the comments, or I want to learn from you too. So like, what have you done that has helped simplify your life? I would love to hear about that in the comments section, and I'll see you guys soon.